Well, welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WPLS, and I've got you covered like a blanket. Another fantastic show. We keep on giving it to you right here on Open. Our next guest is an actress, singer, and songwriter who is releasing her latest single, Sigh, like I. She highlights her road to recovery after facing serious health risks and how she has navigated those challenges on her journey as an artist, as well as her inspiration behind Bronx Girl, the Bronx Girl anthem. So please welcome to the show, Jasmen Hunter. She's an actress, singer, songwriter. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know, it's always a pleasure to see people who are nice and chipper early in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, all throughout the day. Thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jasmen.
Yeah, sure. So, I guess fun fact about me, I like to always say is I was actually adopted when I was very young, which definitely sort of really impacted me growing up in the situation I could have been in. My mother was, a drug addict, unfortunately, prostitution as well. She tried to pay the bills. My father is sort of like an X factor, had no idea who that was. And I was raised by a white family in New Hampshire. So it was definitely a challenge growing up in New Hampshire, mostly white area at the time. And dealing with that, being, a Black woman in that situation.
So how do you navigate that? I mean, how do you bounce back and forth between the races and find a place?
It's difficult. Sometimes I was too white for the Black kids and I was too Black for the white kids. So it really was about just finding my core group. And, when I moved to, Hartford for a bit in my life, it sort of was a culture shock for me. And I sort of found my roots again. I was friends with more people who lived, in these situations in, the darker parts of Hartford. And it sort of opened me up to the side of me that I was sort of barred from because I did grow up in that situation.
Yeah. And now you have found common ground.
It's beautiful. Absolutely.
When did you realize, Jasmen, that, you know what, I want to become a singer?
I think, like everyone else, I was that little girl putting on costumes, giving shows for, our neighbors and everything. So I had always wanted to be a performer. It was always just in my blood. And luckily enough, I had this gift, on my doorstep that was Mark Schoenfeld. And Mark Schoenfeld, creator of Brooklyn the Musical, also from the Bronx. And he was sort of a blessing in my life to give me that shot that I really needed.
Yeah. How did you meet him?
So I met him through a friend. I did sort of a background singing job for the Rotary Club in my town. And he had known Mark from a really long time ago. And he said, I have this girl that, works with me sometimes, and I would like to show her to you. And so I met Mark up in his friend's house and apartment, and I performed for him for 4 hours straight.
Whoa, all right. You put on a concert.
Yeah.
You were in concert.
I was, and this was my big break at the time, so I really wanted to show him what I got.
Yeah, why not? Keep on going. Hey, is this person's gonna help me out? Let me keep on going. You liking it? All right, here we go. Here's another song.
Yeah, and at the time, because he wrote a Broadway musical, I was really trying to get into Broadway. That was, what I really wanted to do. But Mark said, Broadway's not for you. You're a star. You're a star, and we need to make you into that. So forget about Broadway, and we're going this other lane. And I said, let's do it.
Let's do it. So here we are. Who are some of your major influences? I mean, and what particular genres of music?
I'm old school. I love Tina Turner. That's a big influence on my style.
Wait, let me start pulling the records while you're talking about it. Here we go. Which one?
Tina Turner, yeah. And for me, she was so different, and she moved in a way that no one else did, and she made it her own. And everyone knows, the Proud Mary. Everyone knows the Tina, and so she's such a big inspiration for me, looking back on, when she was in her peak of her career.
Do you use some of her moves on stage?
Sometimes, you gotta try and spot them. You know, Tina, and also James Brown. I'll throw a little James Brown in there as
Whoa,
well.
wait, you have James Brown moves? You have his
Oh
step?
yeah.
Uh-oh. Those
Again,
arrests
another artist. Another artist who is just so different, uniqueness. And that's sort of what I try to strive for. It's always
Michael Jackson.
Oh, Michael Jackson. I don't know if I can do the moonwalk, but
Yeah. That's great. So mostly old school guys or women.
Mhm.
Tina Turner. How about Gladys Knight? Chaka
Yeah,
Khan.
absolutely. I mean, and also sort of the other aspect of things, I really love ABBA. I love disco. I love
Yeah, look at that.
70s. Yeah.
Uh-huh. How about
So
Beyonce?
I have such a wide sort of music inspiration basket here that I carry with me.
That's good. So how do you put all of that together to make you?
Oh, it's a lot of trial and error. Sometimes I'll be doing things, and luckily Mark's there every step of the way. He'll say, that doesn't work, change that, get rid of it. Or that's amazing, do that again. And sort of it's this collaboration effort between the two of us to really, come together with a finished product.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to get a little more personal, if you don't mind. I know
Please,
you had a health scare. How did you recover? How did you overcome and get back to you and get back into the music after the health scare?
It was really difficult, particularly dealing with the disease of Lyme disease, which not many people are very, familiar with and know what it does to your body. And it's inside, so you can't always tell, what's going on the outside. I was always happy and, trying to mask that. But luckily enough for me, when I had to unfortunately leave LA and take a break, there were all these opportunities on the table for me. And I had to sort of just keep those at the surface as best I could. And Mark, again, networking, keeping me in people's minds was
Mark
such
is right
a
there
blessing.
every step of the way. Yeah.
Every step of the
Mark.
way. And with COVID as well happening, I got sort of lucky in that aspect because things shut down for a little bit. So I did have time to recuperate and heal myself.
What, so did you get the Lyme disease before COVID, or did it happen at the same time?
Yes, right before. So the fall when I was in LA, and then that sort of next year is when COVID started.
And of course, for people who do not know, Lyme disease comes from a tick. It's a tick bite.
It does. And it originated in Lyme, Connecticut, but you can, a lot of people say you have to be in New England to get it. You can get it anywhere. There's people all over the country really struggling with this. Avril Lavigne, Justin Bieber, they've dealt with Lyme as well.
Wait, did you call it Lyme, Connecticut? That's actually a town?
Yes, and it was named because that's where it was discovered.
Ah, okay.
An old Lyme, an East Lyme, a Had Lyme.
Wow, yeah. And Lyme disease is very funny. It gives different looks. It makes you think you have something else and you don't know. It's hard to diagnose until you go through an expert and they find out that, hey, this is what it is. So how did you overcome that? How did you, you had to, of course, take medications and everything, and then COVID helped you out.
It did. It helped me out on the career front, definitely, because we didn't want to tell people I was, so sick, right? Because then they'd say, I can't do this for the sick girl. She's not going to be able to do it. She's not going to have the energy to do these things. So Mark was really just amazing in saying, we got to come up with something new. We have to put out a new song, or we really need to change the game and get people to keep thinking about you so that when you do go back to LA, which is hopefully soon, you'll be there and you can, jump right into those opportunities. It's still difficult emotionally dealing with it because, like I said, a lot of people, didn't even believe that I was sick. So trying to explain that to people is really hard, why you can't go out and do anything, why you're in bed all day.
What were some of the symptoms that you had? What were some of the symptoms that you had?
So I had extreme fatigue. I would be sleeping 10 hours every single day during the day. I had light sensitivity, so I couldn't go outside without wearing sunglasses. And sometimes I couldn't even go inside without wearing sunglasses if the lights were too bright. Migraines, body aches. It honestly, for some people, can be as bad as cancer.
Yeah.
It really just depends on how your body decides to fight it off.
And how did they figure out that it was Lyme?
So I actually had to go to a specialist in New York City. I went to a bunch of doctors and they said, "You're fine. You might be depressed, or
Yeah.
you might have, this thing." But it wasn't until I saw a Lyme specialist that they said,
Yeah.
"You have Lyme."
You knew something was wrong. All right.
I did.
Bronx girl. All right. Jasmine from the 10469. Tell us.
So, well, and the funny thing is so like I said, I was adopted. So I didn't really know where I came from until recently. I did a 23andMe, and I was lucky enough to finally find out my ethnicity. But it was a shock because my whole life, my birth parent or my adoptive parents had been telling me, "Well, we know, your mom was white and your dad was, Hispanic and black." So I was being told my whole life, I am Hispanic, black, and white. That is my identity. And then I did my 23andMe, and there was no Hispanic on my 23andMe. And that's when I did some research and realized that's not going to show up because, the people that live in these areas are a mix of all sorts of places, African, indigenous as well. So that Hispanic very well may be in my bloodline. Unfortunately, the 23andMe did not tell me. So I, found a connection with the idea that, I admire these people in the BX. I look up to people like J-Lo, even like Cardi B, AOC, who I mentioned in the show. AOC,
Yeah.
huge inspiration for me. And this is sort of, rather than me saying, I'm a Bronx girl, which I'm not. It's me saying, look at those Bronx girls. Don't you wish you could be a Bronx girl? Because there is nobody more tenacious, more powerful, and more determined than those people.
All right. So you're going to put it on record, or you're going to put it on, how you're going to display this 10469 Bronx
So I
girl?
have the music video, which is up on YouTube. It's also, I think there's an article that was written about me that you can search online. It's in there as well. But we really want to keep pushing this forward. Unfortunately, because of the situation we were in, I wasn't able to travel to the Bronx to do this actual video. So hopefully that's the next step. I can actually do a video in the Bronx with real Bronx girls, and really show all the different colors and shapes and, beauty in this neighborhood that I just admire so much.
Beautiful. Where can we find out more about you? We want to know more about you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram is Hunta, HUNTA _BX, all in lowercase. And that's where you'll find most of my things. You can search me on YouTube as well, Jazzy Hunter. I'm on there as well.
Ah, you got a little jazzy with it. Jazzy Hunter, right?
Yeah.
From the 10469.
Mm-hmm.
Jazzy, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your stories, and thank you for your talent, putting it out there so that we can see.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. And, hopefully I can just keep pushing, that this message of there's amazing people everywhere, don't overlook certain areas. And I hope people just dance to it. I hope people have fun. I hope people, it puts a smile on people's faces. That at the end of the day is my goal, is just to make people happy and smile and youthful.
There you go. All right. Actress, singer, songwriter, Jazzy Hunter. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break. More Open on the way. Don't go away.